Earlier this week, the New York Times published an article that actually contained an interview that they conducted with Barack Obama recently, and the entire thing was about climate change, which Obama said the climate change trends that we are observing right now are absolutely terrifying. Terrifying. That is the word that he used, the President of the United States, to describe climate change trends. And that's absolutely true. The article goes on to discuss Obama's accomplishments, if you will, in the area of climate change. We had the Clean Power Plan and the Paris Climate Accords. And that's about it. For being a president who came into office talking about climate change, we have two things, two accomplishments in 7.5 years. Now, here's where the story gets a little murkier here, and the New York Times talked about this briefly, but the Republican obstruction in Washington, D.C. is responsible for a lot, not all, but a lot of the inaction that we have seen on climate change. The majority of Republicans representing the United States in Washington, D.C. do not accept the science of climate change, even though a majority of Republican voters do. So we have that imbalance in there. And those Republicans have helped kill cap and trade. They've helped reduce funding for the Environmental Protection Agency. They've reduced other regulations. But this is what the New York Times leaves out. And this is what makes me so angry. Yeah, you can write off a lot of the inaction to Republican obstruction. Again, not all, but some, most. But how do you explain the fact that in the United States of America, under President Barack Obama, oil and gas production in the United States has gone from about 5 million barrels of oil a day to almost 9 million barrels of oil a day? Production of domestic oil and gas has nearly doubled since President Obama took office. Now listen, I know President Obama is not out there personally doing this drilling. He's not out there helping them man these rigs. He's not doing the drilling. Maybe he didn't even approve it. But he is the leader of the United States. Therefore, what happens is on his watch. He could have stopped this. He could have done something about it, because you know what? It is the administration that leases out new oil, gas, and coal leases for them to go out and exploit the environment. They've increased offshore drilling. They've increased domestic oil production. Fracking has increased by 50% under President Obama. That's, again, not okay. Yeah, President Obama accomplished two things. One of them took the entire world to sign on. That was the Paris Climate Accord. And the other one, the Clean Power Rule, is actually being held up by Republicans right now. But even if it went into effect the day that they passed it, a month later, the Obama administration leased out so many new coal extraction leases that it is enough to produce enough CO2 to completely negate any gains that would have been made under the Clean Power Rule. That is something that nobody in the media has ever discussed. But it's all there in black and white if you want to go look at it. This is the problem. President Obama came into office, and still to this day, obviously, in this New York Times piece, he talks a big game on climate change. Absolutely. But he really has accomplished nothing. And the result of that is what we see happening all around this country right now. Floods, droughts, snowstorms, fires, earthquakes from fracking. The evidence is clear. And the evidence is even more clear that the Democratic Party, just like the Republican Party, simply can't be trusted on the issue of climate change.